Welcome to the Daily Show, my people. What's going on? I know y'all get tired of me saying that. No, I know you don't. I love you guys too. I hope everyone is well. I hope all is well. We appreciate you guys for tuning in once again. We're winding down in many different aspects of things. If you're a high school, college student, I know that time is getting closer for you to be shutting down soon. For me personally, I'm so excited. It's been a rough year on everybody in many different ways. So I hope you guys stuck through it. I hope you're still working hard and finishing out pretty strong. And I'm pretty excited for this episode, and I hope you guys are too. I've got a Little Rock, Arkansas native, and any Arkansan that I get on the show, I get pretty excited to have. So everybody, please welcome to the show, Mr. Jon Coleman. Everybody, clap it up for him, yes sir. My big bro, I appreciate you for coming on. Man, how's COVID? I know we're still in a pandemic. How's COVID treating you, and how's life going on for you right now?
Man, I've I don't want to say I've been kind of doing this already, but I'm a laid back dude and I don't really do too much. I try not to do too much and go out too much. So I was kind of already in that mode already, kind of just, staying out the way. But it's been tough, but I'm just making through, getting through it. I got my first vaccine shot. I got to get my second one soon. Have you got yours yet?
Yeah, actually, I'm fully vaccinated. I'm trying to. I don't. I'm kind of like you on my homebody. I don't get out too much as it was before, but it's taking a toll, and we're inside so much. You still want to get outside a little bit more and be around family and loved ones. But I'm fully vaccinated, so I'm blessed, man. I can't complain too much either, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
John, for anyone that might not know you, just let the listeners know a little bit about you, where you're from, what you're doing right now with your life, and just some things you've been able to do that have helped you reach the point where you're at today.
Um, well, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, like he said earlier. I'm born and raised there my whole life. Right now, I play basketball at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. We are a Division I basketball school in Conference USA. We play schools like Western Kentucky, Rice, North Texas, Louisiana Tech, schools like that. And my major, I'm in business management, and I'm minoring in marketing, and I'm doing that. And whenever I decide the ball may, be done, I want to get into coaching. That's the goal right now. So whenever that's done, I plan to go become a graduate assistant, and try to stay into collegiate coaching. But that's really what I got going right now, and that's the plan so far in my life. And what was the last part of that question?
No, you hit everything. Just where are you at today, and you kind of talked about what's the next step for you, but also, what's the difference for you right now in between before COVID and COVID now?
Before COVID, I feel like as a I want to say kind of as a Hooper community, we got together more. But now with COVID, I feel like it's hard to get guys in the gym sometimes and things like that. Also, I feel like with my team in basketball wise, I know without the COVID, I remember when I first came my freshman year, when it was no COVID, that was my first summer. We would have been here already. We would have been doing things like we'd be going to the lake houses and just having that team bonding and team chemistry moments, things like that. So those are definitely probably the biggest things I'd say, with COVID and then, before.
I definitely agree with that. Whether it's you're not safe, whether it's you're just trying to take precautions, it's definitely been tough on a lot of different aspects on every single person, especially the hooping community. Because even right when the pandemic started, we look at the NBA, it paused. It shut down. We didn't have NBA basketball, so I feel like the whole basketball landscape kind of paused with it. But backtracking with it, I talked about earlier, Little Rock native. Talk about the culture in Little Rock. How did you get into the game of basketball, and where did that love come from, and why have you stuck with this for so many years, man?
Um, my dad's a coach. My dad's a basketball coach. He coaches at Little Rock Hall. Um, I can't tell you how many years he's been at Hall, but I think it's his 12th or 13th season as a head coach coming up, and he's been coaching basically ever since he got out of college. just how kind of like I want to, except he did the high school route, and just me being a coach's son, being with him every day, being at practice, growing up watching it, seeing different aspects of the game at the highest levels, at the smaller levels, at just every level. And, it just, being around it just obviously made me want to get into it. And just that basically got me into it. And my dad never forced it on me. He let me play other sports as well. And I tried every sport possible. I did golf, I was swimming, I did everything. It's just I gravitated towards basketball just because that's what I around. And, I was just blessed to see so much. So because of my dad.
And you mentioned that, and I was going to ask. I talked to Ronnie Brewer last week, and he talked about how his dad's father played in the NBA as well, and he didn't really push him to play basketball. He didn't really even want him to play basketball. What was so different for you that made you fall in love with the game of basketball? Because I know a lot of people have different preferences. For football, I might just be an angry guy and I want to take somebody out, and that might be what I like to do. But basketball, there's so many different aspects. So what made you fall in love? What specific thing made you fall in love with the game of basketball?
I think it's kind of funny. I think it was a video game. I think it was like NBA Live 10, something like that. My mom was like, "You need to get basketball. You need to start playing basketball video games if you want to get into basketball." And I was like, "Ooh, that is true," because when I was younger, I'm playing like Lego Harry Potter, Lego Star Wars. I'm playing Call of Duty and things like that. She was like, "You need to play stuff like that too. Maybe that could help." And I just remember after getting that game, I kind of just started getting more into it, and then I started playing stuff with my friend, like my best friend's Isaac McBride, actually, the one who just transferred from Vandy to Oral Roberts, and then he used to come over, and we'd be playing that, and then me and Isaac would get deep into it, and we'd go out and play basketball. And I think kind of after that video game, I got deeper into basketball. I feel like that's kind of funny to say, but I think that's my moment
you
when
know we we have different things to go on, and you say it's funny, but it's not to me, because anyone that knows me personally, my two favorite basketball players are Devin Booker and Gordon Hayward, and that's because of 2K. So I mean,
okay.
you can have any different love from any different place. So I understand where you're coming from, especially at a young age. Video games, we have a love for them, and that's something that we stick with. So it's not weird at all. But I want to go back. What at a young age, even through high school, it's well, what catapulted your attention other than basketball? What kept you going? What kept you motivated? But what also were some things that you did outside of basketball?
Um, I'm a big soccer fan.
Yes, sir.
You know, I forgot when, but thing like FIFA 12. Whenever it was like Clint Dempsey on the cover, that's the FIFA I got. And then I got into FIFA and I started watching soccer, and that was kind of like my outlet to kind of like just take a break from basketball whenever I've had a lot, or just I need to watch something else. And so I started watching soccer, and I started watching different leagues, and now I'm actually like into the soccer world in the community. I got a Tottenham jersey on the way. Hopefully, we can keep my man Harry Kane. I hope. But that, and during quarantine, I picked up photography. I take pictures. So I got that. I got the soccer, and I started getting I have this old like 1980s Japanese camera. It's pretty cool, but I have to show you that later one day. But I started doing photography too.
I want to go back and talk about your a family man for you. What how much of a family man are you? And throughout your years, what has your family been able to help you with that you weren't able to accomplish without them?
It's just my dad always just taught me like growing up that I need to be thankful for those who came before me, who paved the way, who made all this possible, and just basically respecting my last name, being a Coleman, and trying to add on to it, add on to the legacy and not messing it up. You know what I mean? He always tells me, "Don't mess it up," add on to it, because it's been a lot that's been done, a lot of hard work and sacrifice, that's been made. So, I don't want to be, the person to do that. So, I'll always have that in the back of my head, basically, whenever I do anything, because that's just like something that I can't do. That's something I just would hate to do. So that's pretty much. That's it.
When you say that, do you feel like that's a lot of pressure built up on you, or is that just something you say? No, that's just something. That's how I was raised, and so that's no other way that I can. That's no other way I can live.
I feel like it is. There's no other way I can live. It is a little pressure. I mean, but I feel like as long as I keep a good heart about things, keep God in my life, just make the right decisions, don't do anything just crazy or stupid, and try to stay on the right path. I feel like everything will fall in place, everything will happen for me. So, I try not to worry about things that I can't control and stuff like that too much. So,
The next step of your life, you had the opportunity to be, of course, part of the Hall Warriors basketball team throughout your high school career. Um, think about it. There were some legends just around your time that built up the legacy of Hall basketball, which is Bobby Portis and Tyler Scaife. What was the atmosphere like for you coming into the program, and what were you most excited about being a Hall Warrior?
um, the atmosphere wasn't like dead. It wasn't as high as it like used to been because it was like 3 or 4 years from like when Bobby had left.
Mhm.
But the teams that were before that still were competitive. They didn't win any championships, but they still like I think one or two made the semifinals or things like that. But I just wanted to really win a ring with my dad. That was my mindset coming in, and we got close a lot of time. Well, every single time I was there, I was only there for I was there from my sophomore year to my senior year. My freshman year I was at Pulaski Academy, but yeah. So my sophomore year we lost in the semis. My junior year we lost in the semis, and then my senior year we lost in the state championship. So it was just trying to bring that winning culture back and bringing championships back to Hall. We didn't get to do that, but we got really close, and I think we left a mark.
When you think two back-to-back state semifinal or tournament appearances and a state final appearance and no championship, is that something that lives in the back of your head? Is that something that you're kind
It
of
definitely
always
does.
dwelling on?
It does. It does, man. I feel like I don't want to say we got robbed, but I feel like we got a couple bad calls towards the end of the
Mhm.
game, and I don't want to make any excuses though because they played hard and they ended up winning. But I felt like we should have won that game. I felt like we should have won. Actually, my sophomore year when we lost in the semifinals, Jonesboro beat us. That was that Jonesboro team that went undefeated. That was a really good team. But my junior year when we lost in the semis to West Memphis, I feel like that we also got bad calls that game because they had the state tournament in West Memphis. So they had a home court advantage and all that. So I didn't feel like that was fair either. But I can't discredit the other teams. But yeah, it does. It does.
Going back, you talked about your freshman year of high school. You actually attended Pulaski Academy, and then obviously, of course, your next 3 years you went to Hall High School. What was the transition? Why was the transition needed for you, and why did you make the transition?
Well, the main reason was Pulaski Academy joined the same conference as Hall, and my dad didn't want me to play him, and I didn't want to play my dad, so I ended up leaving. I didn't have any like problems leaving PA, and I love my time there, but I'd rather play for my dad instead of playing against him.
When I think of father-son relationship, especially in sports, I think there's like a divided marker where they're different people basically. Like there's a coach and then there's a father. Was that the same way your father was? Your father different as a coach, or was he this pretty much the same person as he was your father?
Um, I think my dad was the same person on and off the court. Like my dad always, expects me to do everything at the highest, level that I can do it. And he always, pushes me to do things better no matter what it is. So I feel like my dad didn't really switch it up, have like different personalities. I feel like he was the same with me, regardless of what was going on. It's just, he was, you know, dad and coach, but he was still the same.
What was there ever a time that you thought in high school, this is I don't want to play basketball anymore. I actually want to step away and I actually want to do some different adventures. Is there any time that you said I want to step away from the game of basketball?
Um, I haven't had a moment where I've said I want to step away, but I definitely had some very frustrating days. I can say that, I've definitely, that just comes with it. It's going to be days where you get really frustrated and it's my dad, so he's going to be able to push me and get, in my head, I might get a little more annoyed than I really should have, things like that. But, no, it's never been a moment like that, but it has been some days where I've been frustrated. I can say that.
I want to talk to you. I think from anybody in the Little Rock area knows that the biggest, or probably the biggest rivalry in the city, but probably the state as well, is Hall and Parkview. It's even kind of grown nationally a couple of years ago. I don't know if the listeners, if you see the Hall and Parkview game, where the Hall cut down the net, so kind of riled everybody up in the city, and they went on Sports and everything like that. Talk about memories or just times that you had with that rivalry, and was there any atmosphere that you were always remember in high school that was louder than any other place?
I mean, man, I was in that. I was in that when we cut the nets down. It was see it it should have got to where it should have been because we were bringing out a ladder and we
Mm-hmm.
accidentally dropped it and hit somebody by mistake and it caused like a big commotion, you know what I mean? And then it became all that. So we weren't trying to like be disrespectful, but I mean it was a conference championship, so we cut nets down. But that moment was crazy. I remember my sophomore year when we went to Jonesboro and we played them. That was like they had one year we had like regionals or something like that before the state tournament, and we had regionals, and we went to Jonesboro my sophomore year, and it was like sold out, standing room only, and that was an undefeated team. And I had a couple big plays that game, and I feel like that was kind of not a coming out party for me, but I think people respected my game a lot more after that game. I think that gave me a lot more credibility, from other people who had doubts about me, stuff like that. That was a game that I can think about, and the state tournament, state championship game too, for sure. But those stick out the most.
Any particular player that always gave you fits, maybe gave you fit, maybe just one game, but a game after game, you always thought, how can I stop this guy from dropping 25, 30 on me? Was there any guy in high school like that for you? Or even just the team, even just a guy against the team that the team couldn't stop as a whole?
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say Isaac McBride. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't play. I only played him. Well, I played him twice in high school. Our freshman year, I was at Pulaski Academy, and he was at Baptist Prep. We had played each other, but we were freshmen, so we didn't get like that much time, to go against each other. But I think it was no, it was senior year. My senior year, we had played each other, and I think he ended the game with like 33 maybe, and he's the only person who just actually like gave me and the whole team buckets, and like I was the primary defender for the team with guards really. So I would say him, and I can't think of any other guard who just gave me fits like that.
Talk about that relationship with Isaac McBride. For anyone that doesn't know, Isaac McBride was one of the best high school players to ever come out of state in Arkansas. Originally committed to Kansas, I believe, and then decommitted and went to Vanderbilt, and is now transferred to Oral Roberts. What were you talking about earlier? A great relationship, one of your best friends. What is that relationship like, and how did you guys meet?
I met Isaac. We played on some like it was some little kids AAU team. We were called the Lakers, and that was when we were probably like 5. I don't like kindergarten, something like that, first grade, and we had did that, and then we had disconnected, and then I was with my dad at the barbershop, and then him and his dad walked in the barbershop like 4 years later, and then we saw him. And we were like, play on our basketball team, and then he came to practice, and then we were like, wow, he's really really good, and then we've been rolling ever since. we literally done we did football together, and like every AAU team we played for, we all both played with on. Like we did everything together, and we've been close ever since.
For the people that now that you talk about that, for the people that don't know, what the difference is, what as a game relationship and as a fan relationship, what was the difference between regular high school ball and AAU ball, and which one did you enjoy more?
Well, AAU ball I feel like is less structured. I feel like AAU ball is more for people who are good at pickup. Who can just go. Your go getters. It's guys like that, and then it's guys who thrive better in more of a structured system. Like I feel like growing up, playing as a coach's son, I was playing more structured basketball. So, I felt like I thrive better in a structured system, but I had to adapt, and I've learned how to play, pick up and play more freely and stuff like that. But growing up, I enjoyed high school basketball more. But I feel like the biggest difference is like structure and just like I feel like AAU is more suit for guys who are just go getters who can just like
Mhm.
really go get you a bucket. Guys who just have that, and not everybody does.
You finish up your high school career, and what do you think? What's the next step for you? What are you planning to do, and what do you want to do after high school? And was basketball still the mindset? And yeah, and how did you get? What was your recruiting process like to get to UAB?
Well, the recruiting process with the UAB was like, when did UAB start recruiting me? My senior year of high school, we had went to Las Vegas, and our first game we had played McCurr Maker, actually Thon Maker's little brother, and I had a great game. I ended the game with like 17 points, 5 assists. I had like 4 rebounds, and it was a lot of schools there at that game actually, and I started getting recruited, and I just started like people started hitting me up, and I had film, and we were sending it out and things like that, and we already had kind of a relationship with the coaching staff at UAB before, you know, and we just kept talking and blah 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 blah, and that led to me going to UAB.
Um, I talk about this now. A coaching change for you in the midst of that. You're going through a pandemic. What was the transition like from high school to college, and what was the biggest thing that you saw in the difference between high school game and D1 basketball? What was the biggest difference in that?
Um, well, obviously, like the pace
Hmm.
in college is a lot faster, and everybody's a lot more stronger. It's more physical, but it took me a minute to adjust to it. Like at first, I was kind of it felt like I was already just always in a sprint, always in a hurry, and I was like always I felt like I wasn't at my pace. I just felt like I was trying to keep up with everybody else. But with the help of a lot of the upperclassmen and just getting reps and seeing it and being around it, you eventually adjust to it. And it is an adjustment period, like people say, it's really hard, I feel like, to just go just like that. But yeah, that was probably, that was the thing, really.
What is your normal schedule like at UAB? What time do you get up, and when classes, practice, all of that in the middle? What is your schedule like?
Well, at UAB for us, I have straight online classes. So usually I have one around like 8 or 9. I'll wake up, do that, get breakfast, get food. I'll usually have weights after. And then after weights, I'll have another class, or maybe I'll have like tutoring, or I might have a meeting or just something like that. You never know, film or maybe something like that. Then it'll be practice. And then after practice, some guys may have tutoring or something like that, or some people go do treatment, extra shots, workout, just kind of whatever you want to do after that, and then you go on about your business for the rest of the day.
For any high school basketball players listening, what advice would you give them to help them not only be great at the high school level, but pursue the aftermath of reaching a D1 basketball program?
Um, I feel like the biggest can validate to you, and you know, I feel like that's the biggest thing. I feel like people overlook that sometimes. I feel like stats, can just stats can get you what you want, but I feel like winning's a big thing, and just competing with against everybody, and like I feel like you have to compete against the best in the state, and I feel like you have to win. I feel like that's something that people overlook and feel like people think you don't have to do to get to the next level.
Um, I want to talk about a coaching change again for you at UAB. Now with Andy Kennedy, former Ole Miss head coach, but originally I believe you were under Coach Robert Ehsan, right?
Yeah, Eson, Coach Eson.
Eson,
Yeah,
they got me.
yeah.
They
I know
exposed
people see this. It is, yeah. It's Coach Eson though. Coach E. Mhm.
Coach Eson. What was his playing style like, and what attracted you to that, and what is the difference that you've been able to experience between Coach Eson and Coach Kennedy?
Um, with Coach Eson, with how he played, it was it was kind of like he was good. We had a great defense during my one year when we were at he was at UAB, and he always showed us like Virginia clips, and we were looking at things like that, and we were really focused and locked in on defense, and we were a great defensive team, and that was something that I had studied and learned from him. And then with Coach Kennedy, it's a very high pace. You know, he preaches like up tempo, playing fast, making plays. Getting in people's faces, pressing, playing defense, being physical. So that was the biggest thing. I went from mainly focusing on like locking in on defense. With Coach Kennedy, we still play defense, but we also play faster. We were also like I think top 50 in the country this year in pace under Coach Kennedy. So that was a big change.
As someone that's pursuing to eventually want to become a coach, do you feel like you spend more time on the essentials such as fundamentals, watching film, and understanding the game more as regular players would?
Yeah, I most definitely feel like I focus on the fundamentals and things like that. But when I'm watching film, I feel like I'm looking more detailed than other players would. It's like some guys kind of just look at film and just look at them, just specifically themselves, just looking at how they score, things like that. But I'm watching it as like a team perspective. I'm watching everybody, everything, and every possession. I feel like, and I feel like I'm just more detailed. I try to look at it from a coach's perspective instead of a player's perspective. That's the biggest thing I feel like I do.
I want to shout out Coach Kennedy because a big fan of mine, and he's come a long way throughout his coach career. But I also want to shout out the UAB program because I think you guys have grown tremendously over the past years, and you guys have grown as players, not only as student athletes, but as students as well outside of the court, but in the classroom. But you guys, I remember I've watched you guys as much as I can this year, especially in the CUSA tournament. You guys have grown. I think one of your standout players, Michael Ertl, he played well in the tournament. But as a whole, I think the CUSA has grown a lot. UNT, they had their tournament run with Jay Hamlet. Charles Bassey, came back from a season-ending injury at Western Kentucky, and now is one of the biggest draft prospects coming into the draft. How have you experienced the CUSA, and what do you think it's growing into, and how positive, and how are you feeling to be a part of that right now?
I feel like sometimes guys commit to like bigger schools because it's a bigger school, They commit because of the name and the brand instead of like actual fit. So I feel like when you see guys like Hamlet who win JUCO, then get an opportunity, the guys who take the smaller school, but it's a better fit. and they can have, a better role, they miss out on that. But the guys who do take advantage of that, you see them shine like how he is, So I feel like that's what you're seeing right now. I feel like you're seeing guys take advantage of spots that are open and roles that, can be fulfilled.
When you see other programs within your conference grow and reach tournament heights, as we saw UNC have their little tournament run this year, what's the expectations throughout your program, and what do you guys strive for to the next season?
The goal is to win a conference championship every year. We were projected actually to win the conference championship going into it, but we had lost to Western Kentucky. In the semifinals in a close game, and I feel like a couple plays there. I feel like we're winning that game and going to the championship and winning. I feel like the champion. I feel like that was the championship game. Really, in my opinion, I feel like that was the best two teams in the conference playing at that moment in the semifinals. But yeah, so next year, the goal is to come back and handle business with this new team and win a championship.
When you're not participating in basketball, what clubs are you part of? Anything that you're doing now to keep your time busy, and also for anyone that's never been to the city of Birmingham, what's something that they have to do that you enjoy a lot?
Um, Well, I really just stay in my room. Honestly, I watch soccer obviously, and I do play a lot of FIFA. I do play a lot of video games, so I'll stay in my room, play video games. Hang out with my guys. Just chill, relax. Go grab a go grab a bite to eat. We gotta you can't really you can't really see it in the background, but where we stay as a team, we got a nice little view. We got a pool. You can
Hmm.
see it's a baseball stadium behind us. You can see everything. So we got a nice area to just, stay out the way, stay, relax and chill. So that's about it. But something in Birmingham to do that people need to do. Well, we don't have it in Little. I don't think we have it in Arkansas at all. But cookout. Every time somebody from home comes to Alabama, I always take them to cookout, and they usually love it. It's like this fast food place, but it has everything, like any option that you can think of, and that's pretty much the first place I take people. That's what I think first.
You talked about earlier you're majoring in business management and a minor in marketing. What's the goal into that, and what do you plan to pursue after you graduate, other than this, the coaching standpoint?
Well, I can't release everything I got planned yet, but just after consulting with a few people and thinking of other things I could get into on the side, they felt like that was the best route for me, and felt like that could let me be most successful. So that's why I chose that, and it's just some things that I have on the side and some business things that I may want to get into whenever I feel financially comfortable or whenever I feel like the time is right.
For me speaking, we're excited for that thing. We are excited to see what the next part of your future holds for you. Keep us up to date, and whenever you get to that point, you're willing to share that. We would love to have you back on. But I wanna get closer to the end. But I want to know. I like to think legacy. I'm a legacy person. When I die, I want my legacy to change others, to help others motivate themselves. What is the legacy that you want to leave behind, and what is the one thing that others may not know about you that you want to always be remembered for?
Well, I just want my legacy to be that I was a good guy, that I was a guy that was willing to help people. I was helpful towards others. That I was just a good guy overall. Somebody that you come to for anything. At a reasonable. Anything that's reasonable. That I'll help and just uplifted people and tried to do his best. That's what I really want to be remembered for. I feel like as long as I did that, I'll be at peace with.
I think that's very good advice, and I think that's something that a lot of people should live off of. You got to give it a shot, man. You got to give 200% at all times, whether you succeed or you fail. And if you fail, learn from it. So I appreciate that. And again, we thank you for letting me talk to you real quick and you giving us a time out of your schedule to come sit down with us. Any shout outs that you want to give to anyone, man?
Bro, thank you, man. Shout out to my mom, shout out to my dad, shout out to my family. I just left Little Rock actually like 2, 3 days ago, so it was sad leaving them. But I'm back in Birmingham. Got to get ready for another great off season. So shout out to my team. We're about to get to this work. Get ready for a conference championship run, and yeah, that's about it. But thank you though for having me on the show, man. It's a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Anytime. We appreciate you again for coming on, man. And we wish the best for you and the boys this year. Nothing but God blessings and safe travels. And continue working hard. For the listeners that may have any further questions that I might not have gotten to myself, if you're willing to put out any social medias that you have so that others can reach you.
My Instagram is j.cole01. Um, I have a Twitter, but I don't remember it right now at this moment. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll have it probably in my bio. I'll put it in my bio. But you can follow me on Instagram or comment on a picture so I can see it, or DM me, and I'll be able to, get back to you if you want to reach out to me. So yeah.
Jacob, who you got winning? Who you got winning the NBA championship this year, man?
Man, I'm a LeBron fan, so I want the Lakers to win. I want LeBron to win. He's got a really tough task ahead of him. I feel like if he wins this makes him the GOAT. You have to give him GOAT status if he wins this championship with what's going on. But yeah, it's probably gonna be the Nets, but I want it to be the Lakers.
I'm not going to get into the GOAT conversation. I never will, but I definitely agree with my man, Mr. Coleman. But we're not here to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. You guys,
Thank you.
we appreciate you for tuning in. You guys continue working hard, continue staying safe, and don't forget to leave a legacy, man. God bless everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, everyone. God bless.